Fat versus evil. Fade in. Exterior Titan City Street, night. The city has clearly seen better times, probably a while back. There's trash on the street, very little pedestrian traffic. Most of the buildings are empty, some are clearly abandoned. What remains are liquor stores, 99-cent markets, and pawn shops, which have closed for the night. It'd be just like any other bad neighborhood if it weren't for all the glowing blue orbs floating in the air. A burglar alarm goes off. The window of a pawn shop explodes outward. A man in a shiny uniform who does crimes under the name Rancor jumps onto the street with a large bag of loot. He takes off running, his overstuffed utility belt jangling against his leg as he goes. It's pretty clear that he's some kind of supervillain. Just one thing, no mask. At the end of the block, he darts down an alley. Exterior alley, night. Surprisingly well-lit alley, conveniently stocked with trash can lids, crates, and useful debris. One extremely rusty fire escape leads down from an abandoned building. Rancor runs down the alley and hits the fence that dead-ends it. After an anxious glance behind him, he scales the fence. Just as he reaches the top, a trash can lid slams into his back. He falls backwards, hitting the pavement with a moan. He struggles to flip over and regain his footing. At the mouth of the alley, Commander Justice, mid-20s, Ken doll handsome, extremely buff, brand new uniform, strikes a heroic pose.
Ah, the Rancor. So glad you could...
Clang! The trash can lid Rancor has so thoughtfully thrown back smacks the commander in the face. Rancor takes this opportunity to jump to his feet, draw his most impressive weapon, and deliver a quip of his own.
Commander Justice, how...
He doesn't get his line out as he has to dodge the large crate Commander Justice hurls at him. The crate shatters against the wall. Commander Justice saunters up the alley towards his foe. He gives his line another try.
So glad you could...
Rancor blasts him with something sticky from one of his guns. Commander Justice narrows his eyes and goes after Rancor with a flying tackle. No words now as the two grapple in a fairly even contest. The crowd goes wild! Yes, when we look up from the clash of the wannabe titans, we see that the alley rooftops are full of cheering fans. Closest to the fight itself are teenage fangirls, phones in hand, eager to record, tweet, and Instagram every second of the fight. On the very front rail above the fire escape, Betty Casey, 19, punk, clearly the most hardcore fan present. Her vintage hero shirt is authentic. She leans halfway over the rail to scream down,
"Do you or do you not have laser vision?"
There's a disturbance behind Betty. The orbs fly up and to the side to avoid the commotion as latecomers displace the crowd. Jake Valentine, early 30s, cute but overly confident, drags his friend Iris Irving, early 30s, morbidly obese, dressed to hide her body, up to the front row. Jake is ruthless in his pursuit of the rail, leaving Iris to apologize for them both.
Sorry, excuse me.
Jake forces his way past the hardcore fans and onto the fire escape, nearly knocking Betty over the rail. Iris calls apologetically at Betty as Jake drags her down the fire escape.
I'm really sorry about that.
When they are on the lowest fire escape landing, only feet above the action, Jake releases Iris's hand to lean over the railing. Iris plops down and leans back against the wall.
Are you trying to fall again?
I was fine. Besides, it's no good if you can't see the whites of their eyes.
He leans out even further.
So, who am I looking at?
Commander Justice is supposed to be the next white light.
Iris watches for a moment. Neither of the combatants is particularly impressive.
Did White Light telegraph his punches?
Everyone telegraphs their punches to some extent.
The hero in question commits a particularly heinous example of punch telegraphing. Rancor, naturally, sees it coming.
Like that?
A laser blast hits the wall next to Iris's head.
See? Laser vision.
Jake watches eagerly. Iris pulls out her cell phone. Below, the fight is going nowhere.
You know, we were supposed to meet Echo and Craig 5 minutes ago.
Come on, this is supposed to be the best fight of the week.
Suddenly, the cell phones go off. Texts, tweets, notifications from every visible phone. The cheers fade to urgent whispers as the teenagers confer and then promptly depart, sending the orbs into another flurry of person avoidance. Iris glances at her phone.
Looks like Cyanide Susie and Shadow Sprite are fighting down by the abandoned theater.
Jake looks back and forth between Iris, the fight, and the stairs, clearly torn.
We're not going all the way to Springview.
The last of the fans leave for a better fight. Only Iris, Jake, and Betty remain. Commander Justice, flat on his back under a hail of Rancor's punches, looks up to the rooftops. He sighs and stops fighting back.
Zane,
Yeah.
they're gone.
Rancor looks up at the rooftops. Jake snaps a picture. Betty waves. Rancor abandons his opponent, kicks a trash can.
Every single time.
Commander Justice peels himself off the concrete.
Just return the loot so we can get a drink, okay?
Rancor helps the commander to his feet, picks up the bag of loot, and walks out of the alley. His foe follows, dejected. Iris and Jake watch them leave.
Can we go now?